Got some breaking news out of Disney today. Imagineer Joe Rohde's retiring. This just broke a little bit ago. It has kind of thrown my whole production schedule out of whack, but just got some big news out of Disney and posted on his own Instagram page that Joe Rohde, the lead designer and Imagineer at Disney, has announced his retirement after 40 years. He started off at Epcot as a designer on the Mexico Pavilion and some other things, and gradually grew to a point where he was the lead designer and Imagineer over all of Animal Kingdom. If you've been to Disney's Animal Kingdom in Florida at the Walt Disney World Resort, you've seen his hands all over everything. You've probably seen him in a number of videos talking about Imagineering. He's easy to recognize because he's got that big old earring hanging off of his ear. How he gets away with that with the Disney guidelines, well, Joe's a very special person. He's traveled all over the world for Disney and just done a huge amount of stuff. But when you go to Walt Disney World, Animal Kingdom, the whole entire park, he is the one in charge of and has been in charge of designing it and building it and overseeing everything. Expedition Everest was pretty much all of him, including the trips to Nepal to do the research for it. Pandora is also his trademark. If you want to see the impact that Joe Rohde's had on Imagineering, look at Animal Kingdom. That's all you have to do. But that's far from the only things that he's done. He has also overseen the makeover of Disneyland's Tower of Terror into Guardians of the Galaxy's Missions Breakout. He has helped design the Villages Nature Eco Resort at Disneyland Paris. And that was all while he was doing Pandora as well. Just kind of a huge three-pronged thing. What's really neat is if you ever get a chance to go to his Instagram page, he talks about a lot of the process of Imagineering and so much more that's going on. And after 40 years at Disney, he's starting off on a new pursuit. Hate the thought that he's going to retire in a lot of ways, because over the last decade or two, he's really been the face of Imagineering at Disney. And with all the layoffs and everything, he was kind of one of the few left. They eviscerated Imagineering. And I have to admit, I do wonder if that's part of why he's choosing now to retire. He's finished up overseeing all of these projects, so he's kind of at an end point with that. He's not starting anything new except some outside development. And so it gives him a good time to have a break where he doesn't start into another major project that takes 5-7 years or something. And he talks about that on his Instagram page, and a couple of interviews have just come out. But I can't help but wonder if the fact that Imagineering has been devastated also is part of it. They're really on a hold for a lot of what Imagineering would do because of the park closures and COVID and everything that goes along with that. So time-wise, it ends up being a perfect plan as far as the 40 years, his age, he's 65 years old. It comes at a time when he's done with several projects. But I can't help but wonder in the back of my mind, even though he hasn't said this, if all the layoffs and the cutbacks in Imagineering also may have played a role. At the same time, he's still 65. He's earned his retirement. He's got an opportunity to go out and do all these other things he's wanted to do. I'm really looking forward to following his Instagram page and see what he ends up doing next, because it's going to be incredible. But, you know, we're going to miss him, miss his impact at Disney. In a lot of ways, he's one of the last big Imagineers with the sight and the foresight, I think, to be able to develop what so many of us expect out of Disney. I know that there are a handful of Imagineers left, and some are very dedicated to the profession and the craft. I don't want to put anybody that's still in Imagineering down. But when you look at what Imagineering is, it started off all the way back with Walt, with him pulling these people with just grand ideas out. And what it has been over the years, what it was under Marty Sklar for many years. And really, Joe Rohde is, in some ways, at least those of us outside the company, he's kind of the last of the breed of Imagineers that upholds that department for what Walt had it as. The company has said that they're going to be outsourcing a lot of the Imagineering work. It's not going to be done in company anymore, which already you can kind of see that that's going to change it a little bit. And they're going to lose a lot of what Imagineering was between the layoffs and then when you lose somebody like Joe. Just want to say, even though Disney's Animal Kingdom for me was in many ways my least favorite park to work at, part of that was because I wasn't as familiar with it, and part of it was because it was so lush and green and grown in and very, very perfect for the atmosphere. In the Florida heat, it was miserable to work at. So it's really kind of a petty reason to not like working at. But it was also one of my favorite parks to visit if I could be there on a quieter day, just because there was so much to explore and see and so many little details. And that's all comes from him and him overseeing his team and saying, let's build this right. The idea that for a ride like Expedition Everest, that they would take an entire team overseen by him and fly to Nepal and spend time there to absorb the culture around Mount Everest, the expeditions, the legends, the stories that are there, and then to bring back not just those stories, but pieces of the culture so that when they built Expedition Everest, you could feel and experience what real Nepal is like, is amazing. And that's what he did. And I don't know if it's going to be what Imagineering does anymore in the future. So, Joe, we love the work that you've done. We're going to miss you. Pray many, many blessings for you. Enjoy your retirement. Enjoy your travels. Enjoy the new projects. He has said he's going to keep updating on Instagram with his new stuff that he's doing, and I really look forward to seeing that. But going to miss that impact in the future. Where does Disney Imagineering go from here? I don't know. I have to admit, I definitely have concerns, but a lot of it we're going to have to wait and see what happens when everything kind of comes back together again and tries to shift to normal. I hesitate to guess, but it's not going to be the same without Joe. What do you think? Love to hear your comments and opinions. Don't forget to share them in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to check the description too. Tons of information there. Thank you to my financial supporters on both YouTube and on Patreon. Thanks so much for watching. God bless. If you've been to Disney's Animal Kingdom, and after 40 years at age 25, he's finished up and wrapped up all these projects, so he's not overseeing anything new. Cat. I'm looking forward to following his Imagineering. If you'd like to know about my merchandise, contact information, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of my videos, hit that button right there to subscribe. And if you want to see another one, well, I've got a great video for you right here. If you'd like to be like these wonderful people here too and support me financially on Patreon or YouTube, well, hit that little button right there. It'll even give you behind the scenes access and more perks. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless.